Joining us now live, I'm pleased to say, is the Reverend Raphael Warnock, just hours ago sworn in as one of 2 Democratic U.S. senators from the great state of Georgia. Senator, thank you so much for taking a moment to talk to us on this enormous night. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. I'm still getting used to being called senator. What a great country we live in.
Well, Senator, talk to me about how you are feeling. I mean, we watched a lot of history here. You are Georgia's first black senator. Senator Ossoff is Georgia's first Jewish senator. Senator Padilla is California's first Latino senator, a senator that in a state that's 40% Latino. Vice President Harris, who swore you in, the first woman, the first black woman, the first South Asian to serve as vice president. That is a lot of history stacked up on itself. How are you feeling after this day?
Well, thank you so much. And on a day that would have been my father, Jonathan Warnock, Reverend Jonathan Warnock's 104th birthday, the grand sweep and arc of our amazing American story is what is striking to me. He knew a different America. He was a World War II veteran who was asked one day to give up his seat on a bus to a young white boy who was 13 years old, maybe 14 years old. And my dad was dressed in his military uniform, but today his son was sworn in as a United States senator, I believe, from some balcony in heaven. He's rejoicing. And so it reminds us in this dark moment in our country that for all of our problems, what makes America great is that we always have a path to make our country greater. We swore in today the first Latino senator from California, the first black senator, the first Jewish senator of Georgia. And as I think about my brothers with whom I shared the oath earlier tonight, it gives me a great deal of hope. You know, the Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, when he marched alongside Martin Luther King Jr., he said he felt like his legs were praying. And John and I, we certainly are not Dr. King or Rabbi Heschel, but we benefit from the path that they laid out. We're able to soar. We're able to take off tonight because they paved the runway so smooth. And so what I want to do is stand up now for all the people of Georgia and build the kind of multiracial coalition we need to make sure that people have access to health care, that we get COVID relief, and that we stand up for the dignity of work.
I want to talk to you a little bit about that connection between your service in Georgia now. You're senior pastor of Ebenezer Baptist Church in Atlanta, Martin Luther King Jr.'s former church. And that was somehow in some political jujitsu effort, they tried to use that against you in your political campaign, which seemed like an incredibly bad idea to me. And you did win that campaign. But I know that you've said that you intend to continue to serve your congregation while you're in the Senate. What will that look like? Will you be commuting back to Georgia on weekends? Will you be able to deliver sermons on Sunday? How do you see that working?
Well, all the folks who work, in the Congress, my colleagues, they all, mostly go back to their home states for the weekend. I really see my service in the United States Senate is a continuation of what I've been doing for a long time. The last time I was in the United States Capitol, I was arrested in an act of civil disobedience. And what was I focused on? I was focused on health care. And what will I be focused on as a United States Senator? I'll be focused on health care. The last time I came engaged in protest, now I get to be engaged as one who can create public policy. And so for me, there's a continuity of service here. I will return home every weekend, preach and deliver sermons at Ebenezer, serve the people there. And I think that, when you think about what's happening in our politics, we've had a long ride now with a professional class of politicians. I think we need to remember that ours is a representative democracy. That in this grand idea of democracy, there's this sense that ordinary people, whether they are teachers or preachers or lawyers or doctors, they go and they represent their citizens, a kind of tour of duty. But the last thing I want to do is talk to politicians all day, every day, I'm afraid I might accidentally become one. And I have no intention of becoming a politician. I intend to be a public servant.
Reverend Warnock, hey, it's Joy Reid. How are you? And congratulations again on your election and being sworn in today. That was actually my favorite moment of all of the day, was watching the newly installed Vice President of the United States swear the three of you all in. I thought that was a wonderful moment. But, you know, your election, as Rachel was just saying, it felt like part of what happened during that campaign was a kind of a war on the Black church and on the teachings of the Black church that are about liberation theology, which is such a fundamental part of the church that you are a part of, that I grew up in. And so I wonder if this is a moment in which you're going to see the Black evangelical church reassert itself in our social politics the way it was during the era of Dr. King, and really reassert itself the way you've seen Bishop William Barber doing, the way Reverend Sharpton has done, and that, you know, you have church figures that have done that. But do you think the church writ large is going to be more prominent on issues like COVID, on issues like health care, on issues like service to the poor, on issues like LGBT equality, which is something that you have also been very leaning forward on? Are we going to see the church lean in?
Well, there's no question that over the course of my campaign, you saw, Joy, an assault on my faith and on the faith of the Black church. And I think the folks who sit in the pews of the Black church, they heard it loud and clear. And it's part of what I think helped to consolidate the strong coalition that we built and that sent me into victory. But absolutely, I come out of that tradition. It is the tradition that shaped Martin Luther King Jr., who came out of the Ebenezer Baptist Church. Howard Thurman said, by some amazing but vastly creative spirituality, the slave undertook the redemption of a religion that the master had profaned in his midst. It is the peculiar assignment of the Black church to bear witness to God's love and justice in the world. It is a spiritual foundation that has helped to make America better. Dr. King is just one iteration and one voice and a grand and epic tradition. And it came alive during my campaign. I think you saw people of faith stand up and say, no, we understand that Reverend Warnock is a Matthew 25 Christian, that he's trying to speak to the soul of our country, help to bend that arc toward justice. And I'm hopeful that we will see more of that in the days ahead.
Senator Raphael Warnock, one of two newly minted senators from the great state of Georgia. Senator, again, congratulations. A lot of people's hopes, not just in Georgia, but around the country, I think, are resting on you, in part because of that kind of message that you just described there and on which you ran that improbable campaign. Congratulations and Godspeed to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. God bless.
Thanks. Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.